Hey guys, welcome to Mysskinism. It will be terrible to just show my legs on the frame, but some people might think it's way better than watching my face though. But I'm sorry to those guys, I have to move the frame and show my face, and you gotta deal with it. Welcome to Mysskinism. When people refer to Mysskin's visual treatment, they always refer to this leg shots that he takes, and he always wears a dark shaded coolers wherever he goes. So I just wanted to make that as a cliche in my video. But I'm so sorry that I'm not wearing a perfectly black coolers because I'm not having one now. I used to have a really good one, but my wife, she actually broke that one. Damn. He's a director, he's an actor, he's a producer, he's a screenwriter, he's a lyricist. He assists in camera, he suggests in choreography. So basically he dictates the whole cinema that he takes. Shanmugaraja takes his stage name as Mysskin, inspired by the lead character called Prince Mysskin in Dostoevsky's novel called The Idiot. He makes 7 movies in Tamil and has written 2 of his own movie in other languages as well. And he's been creating this new wave called Mysskinism. As I said before, when Mysskinism is referred, they always refer to the shot that he places or the music that's there in the movie, but it is much more than what is being shown. Let's break down the Mysskinism, and while talking about this, I'm ignoring a particular movie called Mugamudi out of it, but we'll talk about the movie later in the video. So let's start with the Mysskinism. First, let's start with the protagonist and the antagonist. Neither of them are flamboyant or swashbuckling or even menacing. They are all normal people in an abnormal situation and they tend to take sides, and that's when they are defined as a protagonist or antagonist in almost all of his movies. The next one is the scene choreography that's been done by Mysskin. Well, this is what a lot of people refer to because he has this certain way of the camera movement and the shot placement, and even the character in his movie have this certain kind of mannerism which is actually, I guess, Mysskin's mannerism, and they have to react accordingly as he would have reacted in the scene, I believe so. When I see Nandalala and Onai Matukutiyum, I would pretty much guess that one. The next one is Mysskin tries to easily go out of the plot, the core plot of the concept or the movie, and he tends to tell other kind of experiences that he has got about humanity or about social satire or certain kind of those black dark comedies as well, and which cannot be noticed by anyone because he gives this easy transition between the scenes so that you won't even feel. The next is the interesting one where he builds this suspense on a particular character and it grows throughout the movie and he'll never reveal even end of the movie. For example, the bald guy's face in Anjade or the old man who's cooking food in Yuddham Sai movie was never revealed in the end, where we would have been thinking like this particular character might help in the end or do something which is totally different or totally typical. Next one is the protagonist of Mysskin's movie always sticks to the humanity. I guess the people who wear these darker shades actually see the brighter side of life. For example, Mysskin, Selvaraghavan, Balu Mahendra sir, where he tends to capture the real humanity moment of that particular character, which is pure from heart, not being corrupted by this social scenarios and stuffs. Interestingly, the characters built by Mysskin, apart from the protagonist or the antagonist, actually tend to help move the story from one point to another point, which is quite rare. And of course, Mysskin loves music, so he plays this major role of music to build the tension or to create the emotion. Mysskin as a director, when his first movie Chittiram Pesadadi was released, it was a low budget movie with a high influence in the market and even to the critics as well, because the plot was simple but the conflict was quite hard hitting. Apart from all these, the writing was so different that everyone thought it's a different concept. But when he made Anjade, that's when they knew that it's not just different, it's actually distinct style of Mysskin. And that's what they named it as Mysskinism, I believe, because the starting scene of Anjade where Naren is shown in upside down angle of a camera until the climax scene where his physically challenged friend got shot and the way he reacts and dies, the whole movie has been filled with Mysskinism where every single scene will be conceived totally different. And that's what he tends to continue all throughout his movie. I wouldn't blame it, but I would definitely not encourage it as well, because sometimes people tend to overdo what they do and that might not be good for a longer run though. Let's talk about Mugamudi, totally different from the concept of Mysskinism in most of the ways. Actually, the movie was not able to connect to the audience which was accepted by Mysskin as well. But he gave this interesting one line that actually he thought about the movie, which was in Bharadwaj Rangan's YouTube interview. The one line of Mugamudi was, there will be this paper boy who distributes paper in and around the vicinity residential area, sees a violence once happening in the morning, and he wears the sack that he has and goes and fights the violence. And this happens the next day as well in some other spot, and he does the same thing, and this continues, and that's when superhero is born. The line was so good, but he had to change it a bit because he's roping in a bigger hero. And that's when the disaster happened. This actually happens to a lot of directors. For example, Nimirndanil Samudrakani's second half was not that good. And Samudrakani accepted that he is guilty because he had to change certain scenes to suit the audience or the fan followers of that particular actor. Mysskin has this deep influence from Eastern cinema, which is not quite common in Indian industry, where people tend to look in the West. And he said Akira Kurosawa is one of his mentor as well. I have to talk about Pisasu because that's one of the best ghost movie that I've ever seen. I guess one of the true movie to its own genre. And world's shortest love story has been told in the movie between two living beings. And usually the ghost has been shown in other horror movies in a very surreal manner, where it comes and it tries to scare away the audience. But here, the scenes are completely different. The portrayal is completely different, and he has done a tremendous job in the movie. He's too good as a writer as well, and the first time he is going to try a full-length comedy in Savarakati, where his assistant is directing. And of course, he has declared Thupparivaalan with Vishal, and this is an inspiration of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. This is India's take on Sherlock Holmes, and that will be too exciting, I believe. Magilchi.